Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Officially final Infinite Forbidden reveals until we get the TCG side of things in like 2.5 months. Still very exciting, though, to see what we have rounding out the set, especially since I think Konami did a really good job of filling this set with relevant-ish stuff, at least like legacy support some players might want. I think when you have too much pack filler, it can really water down the overall quality of the set. But we get here and we're like, wow, is there really only like 6 like filler cards? That's a very low number, I think, compared to some other sets. So let's see if there's anything hidden here in these last final cards that might have some potential. Starting off with Broomy. Broomy. All right, level 2 light spellcaster tuner. Effect monster 700 for the stats. You can only use this card names effect once per turn. Cannot be used to synchro material except for the synchro summon of a level 8 or lower, so it cannot be used to make anything bigger than an 8. You can reveal this card and one other monster in your hand. You cannot special summon from the extra deck nor declare attacks with monsters for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. Special summon one of the revealed monsters, and if you do, banish the other. Yeah, you know, little extender here. I would say with this card, I do just get like weird vibes of like, why did they put that brutal lock? I mean, this guy already locks himself by not being able to be part of a large synchro, which means like this is a level 2 tuner that like maybe can't be reborn off of Excel Synchro Stardust kind of thing. I mean, you can, but you wouldn't be able to use this to just go this plus the Stardust straight into a 10 like we have been in the past. So maybe that's the main restriction there. But then also, if you use its only effect, that's just like, honestly, just a mediocre extension effect. You can't summon from the extra deck at all except for synchros for the rest of the turn. That's a pretty brutal lock on a pretty mediocre extender, I feel like. Yeah, maybe there could be some random stuff like the Synchron decks that like literally only summon synchros, so the restriction isn't really relevant there, and maybe it's a good enough extender, but it is still a neg 1 and probably unsearchable at the end of the day for them. So that'd be the bigger question to me. But, you know, it's an interesting little synchro extender. This card is a nightmare. What is these hands? Look at these hand wings. Yuck. Alright, this is Mori. Is a level 1 Earth Wing Beast tuner. Earth Wing Beast, don't see that too often. Effect monster, 0 attack, 0 defense, up to thrice per turn. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target one of them. Toss a coin, and if it is heads, change that monster to face-up attack position. If it is tails, change it to face-down defense position. Second effect, once per turn, if a monster or monsters is flipped face-up, or a face-up monster is changed to face-down defense position while this monster is on the field, you can target one of them, change it to face-up attack position or face-down defense position. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this card's kind of funny. I normally like the coin flip like decks like aren't too good. Like you don't like that. But to be fair, we're talking thrice per turn, so the odds of you hitting at least one tails is pretty solid. The problem is you may miss the one you need, right? Even if you're gonna get 3 shots to potentially Booker Moon your opponent 3 times, if you hit 3 for 3, then you're crazy. Even 2 for 3 is still pretty solid. But the problem is if you miss the one choke point that matters the most, you know what I mean? And then they're able to just go into the next monster that it's just not as impactful. Even if you do hit it that time, that's a little bit tough. The second effect's kind of like a deterrent on your opponent for if they try to, you know, on their next turn maybe flip up and get things going again. The problem is with this second effect is that like it only hits a monster that is flipped up or down, basically. You can't. It's not like if a monster is flipped face up, you can target anything. You have to target. It says target one of them, so it targets one of the monsters that just flipped, which is worse because it it's only hitting those again instead of like maybe being able to like flip something down with the first effect and then immediately trigger itself on the second effect to book a second monster. Then that'd be even more impactful. It's a fun little card. I just think being reliant on the coin flip is going to make it just filler. And this is classic filler stuff. We see, you know, die roll cards, coin flip cards, stuff like that. All right, next up we have Malipard. This is a level 2 light beast effect monster, 100 attack, 100 defense. So this card is the only card in your hand you can special summon it. I love that. The artwork is like a lazy leopard. And so being last card in hand is like being late. He's procrastinated all morning. He kept setting the snooze. He's the last card in hand. You can summon him. If this card is special summoned by its first effect, its attack becomes 2,500 until the end of your opponent's turn. Fine. And if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can take that battle damage they would have taken instead. Don't know why you would have done that. And if you take damage from a battle involving this card, change its attack to 0. Then if you have 2,000 life points or less, its attack becomes 5,000. Just so clearly a filler card, right? Just all about, you know, changing its stats. Has to be the last card in hand to summon out. It's all battle oriented. That's definitely a filler card. All right, Trap Gather. Okay, equip spell. I always raise my eyebrows to equip spells. I know we don't have Isolde anymore, but we still have stuff like Mikanko that can take advantage of generic equips. All right, equip spell. You can only use this effect once per turn. The second effect and third effect once per turn. First effect. The monster equipped gains 400 attack for every trap in grave. Hey, relying on traps in a equip spell deck? I don't think so. After damage calc, when the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle or inflicts battle damage to them, you can set this card. Send this card to the graveyard to set a trap from your graveyard. Again, like needing a trap in grave and like resolving a battle. I hate that. And if a face-up trap you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. You know, interesting that they try to connect equips and traps, but like unless we get like an actually really promising like trap equip deck, I don't really see a deck like a card like this really working. All right, and sorry, 2 more spells here. One is Interdimensional Matter Translocator. Okay, so we've had a couple cards that have this same little cannon guy in them. Let's see what we do. Continue a spell. You can only use the first, second, and third effect once per turn. First effect, you can target one monster on the field, banish it, then return it to the field. Oh, so like a Zelantis effect. Interesting. Okay, it is mandatory to return it. It banishes. No, it doesn't banish for cost. Targets for cost. Return it to the field. So it's kind of like Zelantis, but the problem is Zelantis gives you the leeway of summoning back, you know, like what you can. I'm not sure the ruling on this one. Like if you have locked yourself from being able to special summon anything but a certain type, and you banish a monster with this, are you still able to banish it and then it attempts to summon it back? But since returns it to the field. Oh my goodness! Wow, there's so many like weird little things, little nuggets here. Okay. Interesting, but I guess maybe something, when you look at something like Borreload Savage, I know it's banned, but like cards like that, Appaloosa, where it leaves the field and comes back, and this is a spell card, so then it comes back with no materials, I believe, so it doesn't recheck the monster's used to summon it originally, I think, so it may lose all of its negates. There could be some things like that, for sure. If your opponent activates a card or effect, you can target one face-up monster whose effects are negated, banish it, then return it to the field. Okay, so yeah. It's an if effect, so it's on a new chain, which kind of sucks. If it was the same chain, it'd be even better. But I guess it's in a new chain. But I guess it could be like if they use an effect that does negate something, then in a new chain, this could banish that monster and return it to the field to make its effects live again, potentially. Okay. And third effect, before resolving an opponent's card effect that targets this face-up card, banish this card until the end phase of the next turn. Oh my god, it's gone so long. This card's weird. This card's really weird, unless there's a specific archetype that, like, maybe isn't hard once per turn or something, and so being able to, like, use a monster effect, then banish and return it, and then since it's not once per turn, you can fire it again. That's maybe the best like way I could see this card maybe being abused, or if it's just a soft once per turn kind of thing. But other than that, this card is it feels like it does a whole lot of nothing, right? But I don't know. It's not the end of the world. I think being able to do it every turn, the fact that it can also like kind of save itself and like keep itself alive for the grind is kind of cool. Yeah, it's an interesting card. I'm just not sure if it's actually all that good. All right, the last card we have here, I believe, which rounds out the rest of the set, is BBS Be Back Sight. Okay. Continuous spell card. Each time the effect of a card other than BBS is activated, you can place one access counter on this card. You can have a maximum of 10. Monsters on your field gain 100 attack for each access counter on this card, and if an access counter is placed on this card and the number of access counters reaches 10, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, set one continuous trap directly from your deck that has an effect that special summons itself as a monster. Also, the card set by this effect can be activated the same turn it was set. Okay, so this is another like trap monster card. I mean, this card is just pretty blatantly awful, right? Like, I get it. Reaching 10 counters is not that hard, especially since your cards can trigger it too. But like, it doesn't just get anything. If it said any continuous trap, I would open my eyes to it, because now that we have some of these like really nasty floodgates at 1 on the ban list, having a card like this means if you just start your turn by activating this, and then as you play your turn, you activate 10 different effects. This card then just like sets, you know, whatever, anti-spell fragrance going post side going first, you know, rivalry, Tikaboo, whatever, any of those cards, because you just play and these all get activated. Then that's one thing, but it has to set a continuous trap that summons itself as a monster. So it only sets trap monsters. There's not that many ones that are like really worth playing a card like this. One, it takes you a while just to even get to the point where this works. So like, are you telling me like your opponent going second wouldn't be able to just go like summon SP Little Knight, banish this, you know, Nightmare Phoenix, pop this, you know what I mean? If you weren't able to use it yourself, now maybe if you're just doing it fully on your own turn, but you're not even getting anything that's like that good. So the payoff is pretty restrictive to just only trap monsters, and it needs and it takes like a good amount of effects to even be live in the first place. I don't know if I'm all the way there on that, but there you go. Fun cards. I mean, seriously, there's the six stuff here. Nothing out of this world. I think this card's kind of funny for decks that may have cards that aren't hard ones per turn. And other than that, most of this other stuff is definitely filler. It's filler for a reason, but the fact that there's only 6 of them is almost more of a highlight to this video than the actual cards themselves. So we are officially done with Infinite Forbidden reveals until we get the TCG stuff in like 2.5 months. So now we look forward to the rest of the Duelist Pack, the Light Duelist Pack, Animation Chronicle, and finding out exactly what's in the new Battles of Legend. Maybe a new structure deck coming, like being announced soon too, would be very hype. We're coming around the corner. Like we're through like the super heavy reveal break here over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, but we are going to move into some other stuff that still is hype in its own way. So stay tuned for any of that stuff. I've definitely got some deck profiles and stuff I want to work on and get out to you soon for the Legacy of Destruction stuff. So stay tuned to that as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.